Hey everybody, welcome back to One Mic, and today I'm here to talk about Season 2, Episode 8, the Season 3 preview of HBO's House of the Dragon, entitled The Queen Who Ever Was. I mean, look guys, you already know. If you've been watching me this season, you already know what I'm going to say. I've been saying it for weeks already. Now I'm glad everyone else is now here to join me. I've been saying everything that everybody is saying about this episode, I've been saying for like 4 weeks now. But a show that was criticized last season heavily for moving too fast and not fleshing things out enough, took this entire season to completely slam the brakes on any forward progress whatsoever. And it's yet another self-inflicted wound within the GOT universe. I don't understand why they keep doing this to themselves. Why does this universe continue to self-harm? I woke up the next morning to a ton of push notifications about controversial House of the Dragon finale and showrunner defends controversial finale. And I'm like, okay, so at least I'm not gonna have to get on camera and explain to everyone else how this show fucked them. they can't deal with it this morning either, so they understand already. But all season, what have I been saying? Not all season, but maybe the second half of the season at minimum. The Daemon subplot has been a complete anchor around the ankle of season 1's coolest character. I've been saying this all year. They spent an entire season just making a point about Daemon and his true intentions, his buried feelings, his desires, all that shit, right? And it started off cool. I liked it in the first couple episodes. But then let's move on and get him doing something, anything, other than just finding himself in Harrenhal. But no, instead, we spend the whole season seeing him learn these lessons just for him to ultimately see Rhaenyra as queen in a dream and bend the knee. And I'm minimizing it. He was told Aegon will be king and that he died too, all this other kind of shit. But here's the thing. I'm not mad that this is the place that he arrived. It tracks. It's not that I'm mad that it felt like they spent all season setting up him betraying her for him to ultimately show fealty. That's not why I'm mad. I'm mad because they spent the entire fucking season doing it. Either result that could take place. 1, he betrays her. 2, he falls into line. Either result is a satisfactory result after 2 or 3 episodes into the season. We ain't need all 8 episodes dedicated to where Daemon was going to land as it pertains to siding with Rhaenyra or going against her. But that's the problem with this season, and that's why a season that was trending toward being very high on my top 10 is now going to find itself in my biggest disappointments of the year section. We didn't get a season 2 of House of the Dragon. We got full setup for season 3. Something that should have been done sporadically throughout the season while we watched a compelling story, or done over the course of maybe the last 1 or 2 episodes. They spent an entire season doing. And here's the thing. This confrontation in Harrenhal that we spent this entire season building toward, and I'm pretty sure in my video for episodes 1 or 2, I said that it was clear Harrenhal was going to be important. So early on, they started building toward this. All signs point to this confrontation still taking place, but it might not. Rhaenyra and Alicent in this episode make this deal behind closed doors where Alicent essentially exchanges Aegon and the Iron Throne for her own personal peace. So shitty. But all that what that means is that theoretically this whole thing could be called off. Could you imagine how much furniture would go through fucking windows if this show spent an entire season building up to a battle that not only doesn't happen this season, but doesn't happen at all? Now, to be clear, I do think that this battle is going to happen. But if you're going to leave us with battle blue balls at the end of the season, don't also set up the idea that the battle you've been teasing all season might not happen. Again, like I said, why all the self-harm? These are Jesus Christ, I can't even remember the fucking phrase. I don't know. Things they're doing wrong that they don't have to. I don't know why I'm blanking on the phrase. I say it all the fucking time. Anyway, all season, what else have I been saying? They've been setting up this confrontation at Harrenhal, but every episode they just kick it farther down the road. In my video for episode 6, I said that episode started in such a way that it heavily suggested to me that the battle was going to take place in that episode. Then, by the end of the episode, it still hadn't happened. And I said in the video that I did for that episode that it doesn't make sense to have this big battle in the penultimate episode, episode 7, so they probably bullshit through episode 7 and save the big battle for the finale, meaning that it would have spent the entire back half of the season dragging out this battle. That was an incredibly cynical, justifiably cynical, but cynical nonetheless, expectation to have. And they didn't even meet that low bar. And now here we sit, likely 2 years away from a third season of a Plan 4, feeling like we wasted our time with this season that we just completed after having spent 2 years waiting on this motherfucker. So yeah, fans are pissed. We have every right to be. And I just can't make sense of how a show that got criticized for moving too fast in its inaugural season could take away the lesson that they should completely halt all forward progress this season. What the fuck? Hey everybody, I just want to take a small break from this review to talk about the various other ways you can engage with me on other platforms. If you're so inclined, and I understand why you wouldn't, I am an acquired taste, but you can join the Patreon where you can get extra content like retro reviews, where I review old shows and movies to see if they still hold up today, Mike's Musings, where I talk about shows I'm watching that I don't cover on the channel, or Mike's VOD, where you can commission me to watch a show, which I will then review on the channel. And if you want to engage with me and chat with me more directly, I also implore you to join the Discord and follow the Facebook page. I set up channels in the Discord for all of us to discuss the shows I'm reviewing on the channel, and I also drop new videos in there since it's the easiest platform for me to share to from my phone. The Facebook can be really fun because I sort of live comment on shows I'm watching, often while under the influence, I'm not going to lie. And I'll also share news there, both about television and film and about myself as well. So if you like my content, you want to be more engaged, you think I'm charming, or you simply want to show support, feel free to sign up for the Patreon or join the Discord or Facebook today. Links to all platforms are in every video description. Remember to share all my shit to your respective social media platforms. And now back to this review. But here's the thing. I thought this was a really good episode. like as a standalone episode of House of the Dragon, it was a pretty good one. Like, it's just that as a finale, it's probably one of the worst I've ever seen. Like, what do I say? All the time. Here we go again. A season finale has 2 jobs. Wrap up the current season and set up the next one. That's an and. Wrap up the current season and set up the next one. It's not an or. You don't pick one. You didn't have to use the entire episode, the entire season to set up the next season. But I'm going to let it go for now. I'm gonna let it go outwardly. Internally, I'm still mad, but outwardly, I'm gonna let it go. That's enough on that point. I'm getting this video up late anyway. I'm sure you all have heard plenty of other people say these things, but you know, had to say my piece. So let's move on and talk about what this specific episode did well. Because at the end of the day, like I said, I did think this was a good episode. So the episode opens with Tyler Lannister recruiting pirates to assist in the battle against Corlys's fleet and the King's Landing blockade. In exchange for their help, they require that they be given the Stepstones once Team Green is victorious, and that one of their people, Lohar, has to roll with him because their fleet is only loyal to and responsive to Lohar. Let me just say that while I found the Lohar stuff to be funny throughout the episode, this felt like a very shocking change in tone for this show to lean this heavily into humor in the finale. Especially at a time where you're appearing to be building toward a big battle. I don't know. It was weird to me, even though I found it was funny. Even though I found it funny, it was like, yeah, this is actually kind of funny, but like, what a strange time to decide to be funny. Anyway, Aemon spends this entire episode essentially having a temper tantrum, and again, strange turn of events. He burns some small town called Sharp Point for seemingly no other reason than that he can and that he has an attitude, which undermines the fairly sound strategist that the show has made him out to be up to this point. He then attempts to bully Helena into flying into battle for him, which Alicent prevents after giving him a proper verbal undressing that he absolutely deserved. And that's pretty much all we get from Aemon in this episode. One of the coolest characters on the show. That's pretty much all we get in the season 2 finale. Alicent, after dragging Aemon, she goes to the Grand Maester and she asks for passage out of King's Landing. And this Grand Maester, man, this guy, he has had the absolute most asked of him. And I sincerely hope he's getting a raise or he's getting some virgins. They send him to the whorehouse with a bag of money like Tyrion did with Podrick. Like he's been forced by Larys to make Aegon walk around against everybody's will when Aegon is like screaming in pain. He's being trusted with like the deepest, darkest secrets and tasks, like fetching Alicent's abortion tea. Like, this guy, man. Now he's got a sneaker out of King's Landing, too. Like, this guy just wants to come to work and give people medicine and be left alone. And he's constantly being asked to do things that put his life at risk. And he's being asked to do these things by the most powerful people in the kingdom. Like, I really feel bad for their Grand Maester. The passage that Alicent requests here is a trip to Dragonstone that we see later in the episode, and that I referenced earlier, where she proposes to allow Rhaenyra the Iron Throne by just allowing her to enter and take it. And Rhaenyra's like, I gotta have Aegon's head. We gonna do this, right? And Alicent thinks about it. She's just like, yeah, well, fuck it. I'm really trying to soak up the sun in Pentos. Anyway, he's kind of a fuck boy. I'll agree to that. And that leads me to Rhaenyra and where we end this season with her and Team Black. Team Black is learning that Ulf might not be the best person to be going into battle with. He's obnoxious and he's disrespectful the entire time, the entire episode, only feeding into the rampant elitism that is coursing through Jace's blood. Ulf's behavior only feeds into that. Jace is becoming a real piece of shit. Anyway, Rhaenyra learns from Simon Strong, who has been spying on Daemon the whole episode, he suspects that Daemon plans on raising an army for himself. We then see Sir Alfred, who in the last episode, Rhaenyra sent him to Harrenhal to essentially check on that very thing. Like, does Daemon plan on raising an army for me or for himself? And Sir Alfred betrays Rhaenyra and tells Daemon that if he wants to raise an army to be king, the council will support him. Once Rhaenyra learns of this, she flies out to Harrenhal to confront Daemon, and that's when he ultimately ends up bending the knee. Lastly, seeing things going in a poor direction for Team Green, Larys approaches Aegon, who looks so much better that I can't help but wonder how much time has passed, and suggests that they leave, only to return later once the streets are hot and once he's missed and shit. And he says that he's had his family's money diverted to the Iron Bank in Bravos. And if you recall, Simon Strong told Daemon that they don't have any money at Harrenhal because Larys took that money with him to King's Landing. So now Larys is telling Aegon, now I got that money sitting for us at the Iron Bank in Bravos. We should go there and hide out. Aegon still refuses to leave. It isn't until Larys talks of how fondly he'll be looked at upon his return that we end this episode seeing that they did in fact decide to leave. And that's pretty much it. Everybody just moved to their final places on the chessboard, and we ended the season. They hit us with this montage at the end that kind of felt like, here's all the cool things you could expect in season 3. And I'm just watching this fucking thing like, did you have any cool shit planned? Did you have any cool shit planned for this season, or was it just episode 4? Like, it's just all cool shit for next year. Like, the montage is so mysterious at times that it borders on ridiculous. Like it shows Otto in a cell somewhere, and we have no context for who might want to have him locked up, why, or where he might be. It just felt like, oh yeah, remember him? Well, he's locked up somewhere. Stay tuned for next season. It's like a fucking ad, man. And it's like, oh my god, why do they keep doing this? Cole and Lil Gwaine, they're prepared to die. Cole says something about, and it was actually a fairly profound statement about the futility of everything that they're doing when there's dragons involved. Alan finally reads the fuck out of Corlys for letting him grow up poor. I love the thing I'm growing up poor and I gotta see you walking around with your rich ass buying fancy shit, riding around in fancy shit, and I ain't got no money. I love that scene where Alan tore into him. That was great. Rhaena gets 3 scenes where she's just running through she's running through fields and shit like that, doing nothing before they ultimately fail to resolve her dragon situation as well. It was just an unsatisfactory ending in every way. When I say ending, I mean ending to the season, a finale as a whole. And again, how it functioned as a finale. Like I said, it was an enjoyable episode to watch, but doing the job of being a finale, it completely fucking shit the bed at that. I don't know how they managed to pull off an entertaining episode that was completely and totally and wholly unsatisfying, but here we are. I don't know what else to say, you guys. I mean, you've all heard it. This didn't work at all. But let me know what you thought in the comments. I'd wager you all probably agree with me, but feel free to share this video with all of your friends who would be like, hey, this guy, everything that we're bitching about for the finale, this guy's been saying this shit for like a month. Right, so send this to all your friends. I'll still be here for season 3, obviously, whenever that comes. And until that time, peace.